is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel. This is your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. I am Ken. Today, guys, we are here to review the Texas Chainsaw Massacre on 4K, the remake, guys, from 2003 from Arrow Video, hitting the format for the very first time. I feel like this one is a long-awaited 4K. Like, I've been talking about wanting this one to come to 4K, I think, since I started the channel. I've been talking about, like, where's the remake? Why haven't they done the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake? I bought this DVD. Like, I've literally had this DVD since 2003 or whenever they put it out. I was waiting for it to come to 4K, so I just kept holding off, and I finally broke down and bought this Blu-ray right here. And I think this was like $6 or something off of Gru, so it didn't set me back too much. So I'm not like super mad about it, but it feels like maybe a year after I bought this Blu-ray, then of course they announced the 4K. Sometimes that's what it takes, guys. You gotta just, suck it up and purchase that Blu-ray. Then the 4K will get announced if you want the movie on 4K. I did not grow up a massive Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan. I watched the Halloween films. I watched Friday the 13th. I watched Nightmare on Elm Street. Like, those are what I grew up with. I discovered Texas Chainsaw Massacre through The Next Generation. That was the very first one I watched on HBO, and I was like, what the hell is this? I didn't want anything to do with it. So when this came out, I think this might have been the second Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie after Next Generation that I ever saw. So this was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre to me for the longest time. And it wouldn't be until like 2 or 3 years later that I would discover or watch the original for the first time, then the second one, then the third one. I went back and watched the whole series. But I still, for a very long time, like, this was my favorite of the franchise. I do have a different opinion now. I do now, in my later years, enjoy the more like gritty, realistic, almost like documentary-like nature of that original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There's just something about it that feels so realistic, to the point where it just unsettles you. It just kind of, has this very unsettling feeling throughout when you're watching it, because it's like, this just feels too real and uncomfortable for me. So I enjoy that movie a lot now. I think my favorite of the franchise is actually the second one, Part 2. I love that one so much, but this one's still a hell of a good time. Like, I still enjoy this one quite a bit, but it has fallen off for me just a little bit over the years. I don't hold it up as high as I used to. But look, guys, before we've already kind of got into it, but hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. We talk about all things physical media here on this channel. I will be reviewing Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the beginning, on this channel very soon. I do have that one on 4K, but I wanted to definitely rush through this and get out this review. So the beginning will come in the next week or so. I'll talk about that on the channel. I'm actually really excited to dive into that one, because I remember seeing that one in the theaters as well. And that is the last time I've watched that movie. I've not seen it since the theaters. I don't even think I bought it on DVD. I mean, I remember liking it okay. I just didn't love it. But this one, I've seen this one like at least 30 to 40 times. Like, this is one that was always in rotation for me. It was one of my first DVDs that I owned. So I was watching this one like all the time. But the thing that I loved about this film is, I mean, it's unlike the original. Like, this movie really is like, this is a horror film. Like, this is a thrill ride. This is a roller coaster ride of a movie. Whereas the original is like very rooted in realism. It just feels like I said, like a documentary. That's the way Toby Hooper kind of intended it. Like, this movie, like, definitely feels more like a traditional, like, horror film, like a traditional slasher movie. It's got those more traditional thrills in it. I mean, it's produced by Michael Bay, so it definitely has that big budget feel to it as well. It's a big budget, like, thrill ride, amusement park ride of a horror film, and I do love it for that, for sure. But Arlie Ermey always stuck out in this movie to me. Like, he's just the biggest dick in this film. He's basically bringing his character from Full Metal Jacket into this movie, I feel like. Jessica Biel is really great. If you want to call her like the final girl of the movie, I think she's really great in the movie. I mean, the last like third act of the film is all Jessica Biel, just running from Leatherface, and they don't really have anything like that in the original. Like I said, this is a big budget thrill ride from start to finish, whereas the first one just kind of builds at a more methodical pace and definitely has kind of a climax, but it doesn't really have the highs in terms of the thrills that this one does with the original. So I understand, like, some people are like, the original is old, it's boring, I don't really enjoy that one, I just prefer the remake. I get that perspective. I also get the perspective of the people that are like, no, I just like the dark, like gritty, like realistic feel of the original. And this one's just kind of a cheap cash grab to me. I get that perspective as well. Going back to Jessica Biel, like she's not like a Sally in this film. Like she's more like a Stretch from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, because Stretch actually got, like, she actually had some charisma. She actually had like a certain charm about her in the film. This just kind of drew you to her like a magnetic charm. Sally didn't really have that. Like she's just the more like realistic. There's really nothing memorable about her or her character. Whereas Jessica Biel, like I just see her as more. I almost feel like Marcus Nispel kind of took some influences from TCM2 and the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, both directed by Tobe Hooper, and brought them into this movie. Now let's get into the actual 4K quality, because that's what you're here for, guys. You want to know, how does this look, Ken, compared to my Blu-ray? Do I need to upgrade this? Or maybe you still got the DVD. Maybe you kept this because you were waiting for the 4K upgrade. But like diving into the restoration, native 4K, it's got Dolby Vision, it's got HDR10. Arrow Video always provides a nice little booklet right here that gives you some details on it. But it says here about the presentation, guys. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003 has been restored by Arrow Films and is presented in its original aspect ratio of 185:1 with 5.1, 7.1, and stereo audio. The film is presented in 4K resolution in HDR10 and Dolby Vision. The original 35mm camera negative was scanned in 4K 16-bit resolution at Warner Brothers Motion Picture Imaging, and the film was restored in 4K resolution and color graded at Duplicate. All materials Duplatech. Sorry, guys. All materials sourced for this new master were made available by Warner Brothers. So Warner Brothers provided the materials, and from what I understand, just listening to the special feature with the cinematographer Daniel Pearl, is this movie was shot on film and it was actually finished photochemically, because a lot of films at that time were being finished as a digital intermediate, just like we talked about with Kill Bills and Inglourious Basterds. A lot of movies around this time in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, were finished as digital intermediates. This movie was not. And I think that's why, just getting into the actual 4K quality here, guys, I think that's why this looks so freaking awesome on 4K, because this looked incredible, like far better than I thought it was going to be. I didn't think it was going to look like crap or anything, but like the movie itself, like intentionally, it just looks like really dark, really grungy. It's got a lot of pukey greens in it as well. And they kind of, intended it to look that way. I mean, they talked about that in the special features, that's how they wanted it to look, to kind of stand out and differentiate it from the original, because that had a lot more like warmer colors. And this is a lot more cooler, like greens and blues and teals and stuff like that. But just has a real like pukey like color palette to it. But it looked great, like incredibly detailed. That HDR really brought a lot of depth to some of those nighttime scenes. Like you could see stuff so clearly. It looked great. And I mean, because it was shot on film, it still had that real like filmic quality to it. You could notice the grain still. Like it looked great, like all throughout, just an incredible amount of detail. The one scene that really stood out to me, because I remember watching the scene so many times on DVD back in the day, but it's when Leatherface kind of stands up and Jessica Biel's in the truck and he turns and reveals that he has the face. And I'm sorry if this is a spoiler, but the movie's over 20 years old. I do apologize. He has the face of her boyfriend on him because he had made a mask out of her boyfriend's face throughout the film. So he turns and you see that. And I remember when you first see it like on the DVD, you're kind of struggling to make out like what it is. And then they do the close up. Whereas in this, like you could see like what it is when he turns for the first time. So maybe that takes a little bit of the tension and suspense out of it. But like to me, like I loved that. Maybe it looked good on the Blu-ray as well. I mean, I watched a little bit of this Blu-ray just to do a little comparing between this and the 4K, but I bought this Blu-ray like a year ago. Like like I said, I held off on buying this for the longest time. I have not watched this actual Blu-ray. The most times I watch this movie are on DVD. So like I said, I popped in this Blu-ray just to kind of compare the image quality between the two. To me, guys, and you can say what you want, okay, Matt, you're good with your Blu-ray. I get it. The Blu-ray looks good. It doesn't look bad. It's fine. It's a fine Blu-ray. But to me, I'm watching this on my 65-inch OLED C2. Like this 4K blows this Blu-ray completely out of the water. Like it isn't even close, to be honest. Like it really isn't. This has so much incredible detail and clarity that this Blu-ray does not. This Blu-ray looks extremely flat. Like this fleshes out all the colors, the cinematography, those pukey greens. Like it just everything looks so much better. Like it really looks like how I remember seeing it in the theaters back in the day. And I know people talk about that all the time. Oh, I remember how it looked back in the theaters. And I'm always like, how do you remember how it looks? Like to me, like I really do kind of remember watching this movie in the theaters. And to me, like this 4K, like perfectly captures like how I felt when I saw this for the first time. Now diving into the sound, guys, you got three audio options. You got a 5.1, you got a 7.1, you got a 2.0. I think it's great that they upgraded this to a 7.1 because this movie absolutely deserves that treatment. I mean, you got Leatherface cranking up that chainsaw. There is so much. Like that's the thing about this movie, guys, like compared to the original. Like Leatherface is in maybe, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes of the original. In this one, like there's whole sequences where Leatherface is running, revving up that chainsaw. It's a completely different experience. And I think with that 7.1, that 5.1, it really just kicks things up a notch in terms of sound quality and just your immersion into the experience of watching this film. Now, I've got a soundbar that kind of simulates that 7.1, 5.1, and a subwoofer as well. I listened to this on the 7.1 and it blew me out of the water. Like I thought it was awesome. Let's get into the actual 4K packaging right here, guys. Now, I know some people are a little bit disappointed. We didn't get a hard box, rigid slipcase, chunky box, whatever you want to call it. But I'm fine with this, honestly. Like, it's fine because I don't feel like I needed this for the beginning. But if you're going to do it for this one, you better had to do it for the beginning. Or maybe they could have done something like the Conan Chronicles where they put them both together. Like, that could have been a possibility as well. But just a slipcover right here, which is a nice scene from the movie that I do think looks pretty nice. Um, and then on the back, you got the synopsis, you got all the special features, which we'll dive into those here in a second. You got the casting list, you got the specs, you got the spine right there. Take it out of the slipcover. Same image underneath, newly commissioned artwork, same stuff on the back. Open this up. You got some disc art right here, guys. Look at that. You got reversible cover art, which reveals the original poster, which is badass. Like I always thought that was a badass, like original poster back in the day. And then inside, you got a booklet that's got a lot of writings on the film, some images. It's also got the details on the restoration, which we covered earlier. Then you've got a poster as well, guys. Look at that. Oh my goodness. With the newly commissioned artwork on one side, and then the original artwork on the other side, which is pretty cool. And then we've also got a teaser card in here that teases the Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning, which, like I said, I will be reviewing that pretty soon here on the channel. So there you have it, guys. That is the actual packaging. Let's dive into the special features because Arrow Video went above and beyond on special features with this. So, you know, we've been talking a lot recently about other boutique label studios lacking in special features. That's why I love Arrow Video. They rarely lack in special features. Like all the other labels, like Screen Factory, Criterion, you'll find them slacking sometimes. But like when it comes to Arrow Video, also Vinegar Syndrome, I'll give them some credit as well, even though they just had a release that had no new special features. But Arrow Video, like really, they rarely disappoint. They always go above and beyond when it comes to special features. You have a brand new audio commentary here with Steve Uncle Creepy Barton and co-host of the Spooky Picture Show podcast, Chris McGibbon. You've also got 3 archival commentaries, which I think, so I'm not exactly sure. We'll get into it a little bit, but there's a lot of archival stuff that was not on this original DVD, but was on the Blu-ray. But it was clearly stuff from the DVD era. So I do think this got some kind of a collector's edition at some point in its DVD run. And then all those special features were added at that point. But there's 3 audio commentaries. You got the cast and crew. You know, Jessica Biel's on one of these. You got Jonathan Tucker, Mike Vogel, Eric Balfour. Audio commentaries of Marcus Nispel, Michael Bay. So like there's a lot of great commentaries that you can dig into here with the directors, the producers, Michael Bay, the cast and crew, like more stuff than you would ever want. More commentaries you would ever want or need with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. You have here 4 commentaries in total. Then moving into the new special features here, we've got a brand new interview with director Marcus Nispel. This is about 16 minutes long, and he just talks about, directing, doing the remake for such an iconic movie, how this movie kind of kicked off the horror remakes, which it really did. Like, there was this one, and then you would get, all the ones that would come after. I think the next one would be like The Omen, then The Hills Have Eyes. I think The Fog came out. Was that like 2005 that came out? But then you would get Halloween, and of course, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th. All the horror remakes that would come out in the 2000s. It really did start with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So that's a really good feature, though. He did a really good feature for the Friday the 13th remake, so I knew he would probably do the same here talking about this. He seems like a really interesting guy and a big movie fan as well. Like, that's what I like about him, and he's a German guy as well. But next up, we've got Shadows of Yesteryear, a brand new interview with cinematographer Daniel Pearl, which, like, this guy, he did the cinematography, like I said, for the original, then he did it for the remake, so he kind of talks about that and goes into that and just the process and just how some of the things he was trying to do differently with this movie versus the original. And that's a really interesting feature as well. Then you got The Lost Leatherface, a brand new interview with actor Brett Wagner. And I think he was Leatherface for maybe 1 kill in this movie or something, but he kind of talks about that. So that's a pretty good feature right there. That's about, I think, 17, 18 minutes. And the one with Daniel Pearl was about 17 minutes too. Mask and Massacre is a brand new interview with makeup effects artist Scott Stoddard. And then Chainsaw Symphony, a brand new interview with composer Steve Jablonsky, which I think he also did the score for Nightmare on Elm Street and the Friday the 13th remakes as well. But yeah, all really great features though. I think totaling up to about an hour and a half of brand new interviews for this release right here. And that's all the new stuff. Everything else is archival stuff, but there's great stuff here, guys. Included a documentary. I didn't even know they did a Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake documentary, but the documentary is about an hour and 16 minutes long. And that was from 2004. So I think that was from like the DVD collector's edition that would come out after this original run of this DVD. But that one's called Chainsaw Redux, Making a Massacre, Making a Documentary. Then you got Ed Gein, the Ghoul of Plainfield, an in-depth look at the infamous killer who inspired the character of Leatherface. So that's about 25 minutes long. Then you got Severed Parts, a look at the cutting room floor and some of the scenes excised from the final edit, deleted scenes, including an alternate opening and ending, screen tests for Jessica Biel, Eric Balfour, and Erica Lurzin. And then behind the scenes featurette, cast and crew interviews, theatrical trailers, TV spots, concept art galleries. So just all kinds of stuff here, guys. But all the archival stuff is on this Blu-ray right here, including the documentary. This does have the documentary right here as well. So, but it's awesome that this includes it. I think the only thing that's missing on this that was on these 2 editions, and this has nothing, except a music video. And that is what I think is the only thing that's missing from this. Maybe it's on there and I just missed it, but I think that's the one thing that these have that this doesn't, is the music video. Overall, guys, this is a spectacular release by Arrow Video. I'm very happy with what they did here. I think the movie looks great on 4K, so much better than the Blu-ray, in my opinion. Again, guys, it's always my opinion. I think the features are great. Packaging's awesome. Artwork's awesome. The movie's fantastic. Like I said, a thrill ride from start to finish. Totally different than the original, but still pretty damn great in its own right. So thank you all so much for watching my review of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. I will link it down below in the description. It's going for $31.99 right now on Amazon, which I think is a great price. I think it's honestly, like, for everything you're getting here, I think it's kind of a steal from Arrow Video. So thank you all so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, turn on bell notifications for all future videos, and we'll see you next time.